Wish me luck, comrades. This is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Part 1. Vengeance is mine, I will repay. Chapter 1. All happy families resemble one another. Every unhappy family is unhappy after its own fashion. Confusion reigned in the house of the Oblonskys. The wife had discovered that her husband was too attentive to the French governess who had been in their employ, and she declared that she could not live in the same house with him. For 3 days the situation had lasted, and the torment was felt by the parties themselves and by all the members of the family and the domestics. All the members of the family and the domestics felt that there was no sense in their trying to live together longer, that in every hotel people who meet casually had more mutual interests than they, the members of the family and the domestics of the house of Oblonsky. Madame did not come out of her own rooms. It was now the 3rd day that the husband had not been at home. The children ran over the whole house as though they were crazy. The English maid quarreled with the housekeeper and wrote to a friend begging her to find her a new place. The head cook went off the evening before, just at dinner time. The black cook and the coachman demanded their wages. On the 3rd day after the quarrel, Prince Stepan Arkadyevitch Oblonsky, Stiva, as he was known in society, awoke at the usual hour, that is to say, about 8 o'clock, not in his wife's chamber, but in his library, on a leather-covered lounge. He turned his pampered form over on the springs of the lounge. In his efforts to catch another nap, he took the cushion and hugged it close to his other cheek. But suddenly he sat up and opened his eyes. Well, well, how was it, he thought, recalling a dream. Yes, how was it? Yes, Alabin gave a dinner at Darmstadt. No, not Darmstadt. It was something American. Yes, but this Darmstadt was in America. Yes, Alabin gave a dinner on glass tables. Yes, and the tables sang, Il mio tesoro. No, not Il mio tesoro, but something better, and some little decanters. They were women. And he, continuing his recollections, Prince Stepan's eyes gleamed with joy, and he smiled as he thought, yes, it was good, very good. It was extremely elegant, but you can't tell it in words, and you can't express the reality even in thought. Then noticing a ray of sunlight that came through the side of one of the heavy curtains, he gaily set foot down from the lounge, found his gilt leather slippers. They had been embroidered for him by his wife the year before as a birthday present, and according to the old custom which he had kept up for 9 years, without rising, he stretched out his hand to the place where in his chamber he hung a dressing-gown. And then he suddenly remembered how and why he had slept, not in his wife's chamber, but in the library. The smile vanished from his face, and he frowned. "Ach, ach, 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 ach," he groaned, recollecting everything that had occurred. And before his mind arose once more all the details of the quarrel with his wife, all the hopelessness of the situation, and most lamentable of all, his own fault. No, she will not, and she cannot forgive me, and what is the worst of it, 'twas all my own fault, and yet I am not to blame. It's all like a drama, he thought. Ach, 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 he kept murmuring in his despair as he revived the unpleasant memories of this quarrel. Most disagreeable of all was that first moment when, returning from the theater, happy and self-satisfied with a monstrous pear for his wife in his hand, he did not find her in the sitting-room. He did not find her in the library, and at last saw her in her chamber, holding the fatal letter which revealed all. She, his Dolly, this forever busy and fussy and foolish creature, as he always looked upon her, sat motionless with the note in her hand and looked at him with an expression of terror, despair, and wrath. "What is this? This?" she demanded, pointing to the note. Prince Stepan's torment at this recollection was caused less by the fact itself than by the answer which he gave to these words of his wife. His experience at that moment was the same that other people have had when unexpectedly caught in some shameful deed. He was unable to prepare his face for the situation caused by his wife's discovery of his sin. Instead of getting offended, or denying it, or justifying himself, or asking forgiveness, or showing indifference, anything would have been better than what he really did. In spite of himself, by a reflex action of the brain, as Stepan Arkadyevitch explained it, for he loved physiology, absolutely in spite of himself, he suddenly smiled with his ordinary, good-humored, and therefore stupid smile. He could not forgive himself for that stupid smile. When Dolly saw that smile, she trembled as with physical pain, poured forth a torrent of bitter words, quite in accordance with her natural temper, and fled from the room. Since that time she had not wanted to see her husband. That stupid smile caused the whole trouble, thought Stepan Arkadyevitch. But what is to be done about it, he asked himself in despair, and found no answer.